So this is my new #1 amp. I have the privilege to own a great selection of amplifiers, and this one checks all the boxes for me. It just so happens to be one of a kind. There's a special sort of technology within this amp. It's based on the PRS HXDA, which was based on mid to late 60s Marshall circuits that players whose first names are Jimmy and Dwayne would favor. This is what that amp is based upon, but the modern element to it and what makes it fit with my playing style is there are not only some controls that allow me to dial in exactly what I'm going for from just an amp perspective, but it also makes for a great pedal platform if I wanted to use it in a live context or testing out guitar pedals or, you know, being creative. It's an amp to do all the things that I need, and at the end of the day, this is a tool. That amp is a tool. We use these tools to create the art within our minds. So I want to demonstrate exactly what's great about this amp and let you hear for yourself. I would recommend using some headphones or some nice studio monitors if you can, because the nuances of this amplifier are really interesting. So the Marshall sound has never really been my favorite sound because it's hard to control, especially in a live setting. They kind of feel a little bone dry, and that was what was so attractive about the late 60s Plexi style Marshalls, is that they have this sort of saturation, this sultry element to them to where the tone was sweet. And what this amp does is takes that notion and expands on it and really enhances the sweetness and all the good parts, basically, of the old Marshall sound. So this is what I have come up with as my ideal clean setting. Here's something interesting. My volume is rolled down halfway. So if I roll it up, pretty nice. For a clean sound, that is just so great because I don't have to step on any pedals or do much of anything other than move my finger a little bit to get a little extra bite for some lead guitar playing. So that kind of eliminates the need for, say, a compressor or a boost pedal. If my amp can clean up this well, that makes me feel safe as a guitar player. You know, you don't want to have to worry about the tools that you're using, and this is why I think that having a solid guitar amp, a #1 guitar amp that you can always rely on, well, it's just such a sought after feeling, and I'm glad that I kind of have discovered it now. Again, it just enhances everything my guitar can do. So when I split these pickups, That's an entirely different sound. I haven't adjusted the amp one time. Delightful. Let's move on to explore what these controls actually do, and I'll show you a lead tone that Paul told me to dial in. So as you can see here, we have HXDA. I'll let you figure out what those two things mean, but essentially it's a bright switch, and that is the way I use it. The cool thing though too is that this gain knob and this bass gain knob drastically affect the guitar tone. Normally gain knobs don't really affect the tone, they just affect how much gain you have, but with the bass gain, that is really something that is unique to these vintage style circuits. And the way these amps used to be used is with this all the way up. Pull that out, you'll hear the difference. And of course, when we punch up the gain itself on the treble side of things and push that bass gain, we get these beautiful blooming lead notes. And again, no buzz, no noise, because the amp's not turned all the way up, and that's another awesome thing about the modern element to this amp is it's not humming. Not enough can be said about that, especially for somebody like me who needs stuff to work right away. I have a pretty high output rate for the content that I create and the way I operate, so I need all my stuff to work, and I need it to work well, and that just goes back to the reliability of a #1 guitar amp. So let's hear what Paul has to say about how he would dial in a lead guitar tone.
I would turn both channels all the way up. I'd turn the master up to about 2/3, the treble on about 1/3, the mid-range on about 2/3, the bass on about 1/3, and the presence on about 1/3, and the bright switch off.
Shall we hear it with a single coil? That's a delicious combination. Let's see what it sounds like a little bit cleaner. Whoa. The hairs on my arm stood up. That was really cool. As you can hear, this is just dipping your toe into the surface of the sounds on this amp. But again, I mentioned I use pedals a lot too, and the cool thing about this amp is it takes pedals extremely well. I'm not going to really get into that in this video. This is more of just an introduction because you're going to be hearing this amp all the time watching my channel. It's another awesome moment for me And I have you guys to thank for supporting this channel and allowing me to grow into a player worth acknowledging by a company like PRS Guitars. So thanks to Paul for sending this amp, and thanks to you guys for watching. And let's take it out with a little jam, shall we? Until then.